Good morning. Welcome to Module 4, Understanding My Community. My name is Donita Ernest, and my community is the town of Caney, Kansas. And here are some just quick demographics about my city. We're predominantly white, 81%. Our largest employer is Spears Manufacturing, and I always say they make widgets. They actually make, I think, sink, like faucet adapters. And USD 436 is, those are both our largest employers in my whopping town of 1,800 people. Our median income is about $40,000, and our property values of our homes are about $50,000. And that is one of the things that draw people to our community. Even though it's only 1,800 people, we do have fairly inexpensive housing. The flip side of that is we live in a pretty rural area, and so our average commute for those of us who aren't privileged enough to work in the two largest employers in my town have an average commute of about 17 minutes. And we are centrally located between a couple of towns, a few towns actually. Bartlesville is in Oklahoma. We're right on the state line, and they have about 40,000 people, I think. Independence and Coffeyville have between 20 and 30,000 people, and they are to the north and to the west of us. So the majority of us have quite a little commute. I commute, but I commute from the west, and because I live over by Sedan. These two images I found on a really interesting website, and I will show that the link at the end. Just really informative data about my town, and this is my works cited there. So we're known for just a few things, not anything huge, but every May we have a festival. It's called Mayfest, and we have a car show during that time. That's the time then all the kids come back, all the classes come back for class reunions, and it's just a really fabulous weekend. We have an annual cornhole tournament in the fall. We are part of the Can Okla 100-mile garage sale, which is always very exciting. We do host a citywide garage sale in the spring, our annual Christmas parade, and the Lions Club puts on a chili feed. We do schedule our school start date around the Coffeyville Interstate Fair and Rodeo because we are a huge FFA school and have a ton of kids in 4-H that are showing animals, and they're gone for 2 or 3 days at the beginning of the year. So we've rescheduled many times around the Coffeyville Interstate Fair and Rodeo. Prom is a big deal. As many schools have walk-in, we have a big get together where everyone gets to come and watch watch the students walk in with their dates in their cars. And then homecoming is always a lot of fun because that's a time that a lot of the students do come back. The alumni come back and celebrate. So we have several community groups, just as any other district does. We have booster clubs that work at both the grade school and the high school. The high school one is significantly different because it leans more towards sports instead of the teachers, whereas the teachers, the elementary one does focus on the teachers. We have some local churches that are pretty involved in our community. We have the local Nazarene Church, Tyro Christian Church, and Cornerstone Church, which are both non-denominational. And our populations of our town is separated into those three churches pretty much, and they are a significant player in our schools. So we love having them. The senior parents, they're in charge of painting the fields for football. And every year, the boys whose parents would like to, they're allowed to go and help paint the lines on the football field. And it's just kind of a tradition that took hold several years ago. And the parents, it's just a passing of the torch every year. And we get parents volunteer, and it's really kind of cool. We have an ACES program, which is an academic program at the elementary school. It helps our parents out a lot because the students can stay after and work on homework. They can get a snack. They can do some extra learning, like some social emotional groups that the school helps with in that area. We have Wednesday night feeds. The Wednesday night feeds are usually done by the local churches, or we do some of them here at the school. And what they do is the ones that are done at the churches, they actually do it at their church, and the students will go there for Wednesday night feed. The ones that happen here at the school, different groups like the cheerleaders or the FCA or the football team or whatever group it is that's putting on the feed, the parents of those athletes will make the food, and they will actually come and serve the food to the athletes. And this is generally done so they can leave practice, have practice, leave practice, eat supper at the school, and then go to church. And so it's kind of a neat thing that we've started here. And then of course Caney Rec, as any little town knows, the rec is a vital organism in our community. Leadership groups, we have Agape Food Pantry, LaForge Insurance. Our school board is definitely a guiding principle in our district. The Caney Betterment Group, Caney Rec, and local banks, each of these have a particular person that is a driving force in that particular business. And we just get a lot of support from each of these. LaForge Insurance always, during holidays, brings in foods and different things for the teachers and the staff. At Agape Food Pantry, they provide our kids with a significant amount of food to take home on the weekends if they need it, and especially during holidays. And the Caney Betterment Group, they are in charge of just literally making our community better, and making it more appealing to come to Caney to raise your kids and live. And so we have seen some really great things with them. Our economic conditions, as I said before, we are a small rural area, and we are not wealthy by any means. We are definitely a blue-collar working class community. We are seeing businesses being built and old buildings downtown being bought and renovated, and that's part of the community betterment group that we've seen come in and do that. We actually have a grocery store that is ran by the city, and that was part of the community betterment group because we had a grocery store go out of business several years ago, and we haven't had one since then. And so, as I said before, our closest town is about 17 miles, so it was really kind of hard. Now, we did end up getting a Dollar General several years ago, so that has helped significantly, but the city-ran grocery store is a real blessing. Amazon was in Coffeyville. It left. Cessna is near us, and we do have several people employed with Cessna. Walmart Distribution Center is only about 30 miles from us, so people do drive there. John Deere is in Coffeyville. We are blessed to have that and have people employed there. Gas prices and driving out of town are killing people right now. It's just really, really hard, and our local businesses can't find help, and yet people, it's hard to drive out of town for work because gas prices are, I think I paid $3.29 as like last week. So that is a significant barrier. ConocoPhillips is of course in Bartlesville, and they have just laid off another group, and so there have been several people losing jobs in that layoff. Our political structure is just, as I've said before, like any other small town or large town for that matter. We have a city manager, a city clerk. Our mayor is actually on the school board, and our school board had many openings this year, and people were very eager to get one of those spots. So that was kind of nice to see people wanting to be a part of that. Social tensions, not any different here than they are everywhere else. The mask, no mask, vaccine, no vaccine, testing, no testing has been made political. It's very difficult. We are now with no restrictions in my district or my town, and so that has helped a lot. Spinning issues, we need new water lines. We are the joke of Southeast Kansas. We're always out of water, or something is always happening with our water lines. So we need to get those fixed. And then we have a new chief of police, and he's been here probably 2 years, and he's really doing it right, I think. And so people either really love him or they really hate him. We have several community efforts that people have tried. The Delaware Tribe started a daycare several years ago, had a huge fancy building. It is so nice, but it was a flop. It did not go well, and that building is sitting empty, and it would be nice if we could use that for something. We did do a little skateboard park, but it did not go over well. We just don't have that particular population. Last year we got a tutoring grant, and we just were not able to keep it this year, but we do utilize the rec in conjunction with the ACES program to help students. We did get a new swimming pool. Our Caney Betterment Group, as I mentioned earlier, is a fabulous asset to our community. We just got a new gym floor in our main gym, and we got a new front entrance within the last 2 years at the high school. So we have a lot of good things going on, but there are some things that have been tried that have not went off so well. Power structure, large employers such as ConocoPhillips and Bartlesville, they are probably one of the most powerful in our area. Right here in my town, our city leaders, which would be our police, our doctors, our lawyers, and our betterment group, those are the people that have the most significant power, but they utilize it well. It's not anything that's they're hanging over us, and there are a few big names, just like there are in any little town. Oh, well, you don't say anything to them because that's so and so's kid, or oh, don't you know who their parents are? So we do have a couple of those families in our district, but it's manageable. Our communication channels, they are, of course, like radio, local newspaper. We still do have a local newspaper. It's the Montgomery County Chronicle. The person that owns it is a Caney alumni, and so we will probably always have a shoe-in with them because they are big Caney people. Social media, of course, Facebook, Thrillshare, which is a school app that we send things out. And then, of course, our website, caneykansas.com is for our town, and caney.com is for our school. Public opinion, everyone knows everyone in Caney. We have 1,800 people. Everyone's related in some way or form. Not really, but it kind of seems like that sometimes. People return here to raise their kids. They grow up, they go to college, they may move away for a while, but the majority of us move back, and this is where we want to raise our kids. Some people do have negative opinions of neighboring towns, like, oh, I don't want to raise my kid in Coffeyville, so I'm going to live in Coffeyville because I want the amenities of Coffeyville, but I'm going to put my kid on the school bus at the line and send them to Caney School because they don't want their kids in Caney or Independence or wherever. Not Caney, but Independence or Coffeyville. So people do want their kids to come to school here, especially people who have attended school here. There's always one or two that complain, and people are not bashful in our town talking about what they think, and what they want to see happen. And I think that people want to be involved. They want to know that they have a voice in what is going on. We don't have a whole lot of multicultural issues in my area. We have only a handful of non-English speaking families, but people are starting to come in with that background. There's not a lot of diversity. We have most of our biracial students identify as white, and so that's a little bit different than what you would see at larger schools. We don't have any cultural dress code issues. I had one young lady last year that wanted to wear her tribe name on her stole at graduation, and that was not a problem at all. This concludes my presentation, and I will leave this up here just for a second. I loved this assignment because it allowed me the opportunity to really dig in and look at different resources I have in my community, and some of them we're not even touching. So I loved looking at this. I hope to be able to put some stuff into play immediately, share some information with the people that need to have this information, like, hey, why don't we A, B, and C. So anyway, I loved the assignment. I thought it was fabulous. This is the website right here, this Caney, Kansas, Date USA. It's datausa.io. And if you want to find any information about your town, it's a really, really neat website if you were not able to access it during your search. So thanks for listening and have a great day.